Hello guys, my name is Rizky from acreativealt. The hustle culture has been a trending topic for the past few years. We've seen the rise of many celebrity entrepreneurs who are always saying things about hustle hearts. Having a side hustle is something that many of these entrepreneurs actually advising people to do. So I decided to create a video to reflect one of my favorite channel called How Money Works. According to the channel, nobody actually wants a side hustle. Some of us may not be fortunate enough to make enough money to have a decent living with just our income from an employment. I think many of you guys, including myself, can relate to this really well. Throughout my entire career in the creative industry, I always have side hustles. And in this video, I just want to highlight some of the reasons why you need a side hustle. I'm going to set aside the fact that you are doing side hustle because of a need of extra money. For example, when I was working as a designer, as some of you guys may have known, designer is not exactly the highest paying job. So therefore, I do actually need a side hustle so that I can actually put an additional money to afford to buy a house. At the same time, if you happens to have a full-time job and you probably can make a decent living out of it, I do believe there are still benefits in having side hustles. First thing is, of course, chasing passion. This was actually one of my main motivation back then. I've been pursuing my career in a creative line, which is also my passion, but I do have other interests that I'm really passionate about. When I was younger, I always want to become a rock star. So I used to pursue music as a side hustle, whereby I was playing in pubs and hotels. So this is something that you can consider, whereby you can actually pursue your passion as a side hustle. It gives you an avenue to actually do something outside your day-to-day job and of course keep the passion burning. Next thing is to test out a new industry. As many of us experience, especially during this pandemic period, certain industry gets really affected. So we know the importance of not to stuck into just one industry. So you can actually do a side hustle that is actually different from your industry. When I was a lecturer, I started my company called acreativealt, and this video productions, photography, whatsoever was actually my side hustle, and ended up I actually made more from my side hustle, and therefore my lecturing job turns into my side hustle. If you happens to have a certain idea in mind and you are thinking of setting up a business out of it, you can actually test out that particular idea and industry as a side hustle before you dive into it full time. Lastly, is to learn new things. It kind of relates back to the second point, whereby you're testing out different things. You will actually learn a lot of new skills by doing side hustle. For example, back then when I was a lecturer teaching design and animation, I didn't know how to operate a camera just yet. So when I decided to pursue event photography as a side hustle, I picked up photography, the skills that I still use until today. Lastly is to learn a little bit of business, depending on what kind of a job that you actually do on a daily basis. I know many people actually doing e-commerce as a side hustle. So by doing so, you will learn how to probably set up a website, putting in a marketplace, how to deal with customers and so on and so forth. Another side hustle that I actually like to do is actually to sell watches. Watches has been my passion. I try to find the best price possible and I will purchase it secondhand. And a lot of times I do make money out of it. Even with just this kind of a simple transactions, you actually learn how to sell. Or let's say if you're providing certain services like website design, you will be dealing with customers. You will learn a new skills that may be beneficial for you if you decided to run a business in the future. So with that, I hope this video is useful. If you are picking up a new side hustle this year, I wish you good luck. If you want to know what I do for a living, you can check out my company Facebook page. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to connect with me, the best way is to connect with me through LinkedIn.